everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And today we've got a report from the Autistica Society website, and it's called Autistic People's Mental Health is Worsening. We need new ways of delivering services. So as an autistic person myself, as an autistic woman, I thought it would be important to talk through this article, which I've got right here with me, which I will attach pictures of in my video right at the end, so you can see what it actually says. So I'm going to talk through it. It says, before the pandemic, autistic and other neurodivergent people faced higher rates of mental health difficulties and a lack of access to support. These inequalities are widening and will continue to do so as restrictions become more complex and changeable. A shift towards remote healthcare may be beneficial to some and completely inaccessible for others. We need to know more about how to provide digital mental health support more effectively. As society opens up, it is essential we tackle the mental health crisis facing neurodivergent people, learn from positive experiences of lockdown, and build a world where those who are different can truly be thriving. So where are we now? The pandemic is widening the mental health inequalities facing autistic and other neurodivergent people. Mental health difficulties experienced by 8 in 10 autistic people were already the norm. Emerging research suggests that autistic people have experienced heightened anxiety and more mental health difficulties during this lockdown. This increase is larger than in the neurotypical people. Data from the National Child Mortality Database suggests a possible rise in self-harm and suicidality attacks during lockdown. Autistic people and those with ADHD are known to be at increased risk. Neurodivergent people are facing unique challenges from lockdown. Reduced access to social care and other specialist input, including charities, have left many unable to meet their needs. Social isolation is exacerbated, and elderly or vulnerable carers are providing care alone. Uncertainty plays a major role in the anxiety for autistic people. Many report disruption to routines as their primary stressor. Access to necessary food and supplies is a significant problem. Safe products which autistic people rely on for much needed continuality may be unavailable. Compliance to social distancing rules is variable, and for some for whom supermarkets really are inaccessible or unavailable due to access delivery slots as the demands are rising. Changes to services could exacerbate existing lack of mental health support. Even before COVID-19, neurodivergent people struggled to access mental health services. The pandemic has caused major disruption, in some cases complete loss of service, just as they are needed the most. Some autistic people struggled to engage with remote alternatives such as telephone or video call. Others find these options more accessible, creating an opportunity for a long-term digital solution. But we need to know more about you and which groups clinically benefit from this digital delivery. For some autistic people, leaving lockdown will be harder than what was entering it. Pressure to attend social events and return to stressful school or workplaces with the new norms has increased anxiety for many, particularly with routines, coping strategies and usual supports remain still unavailable. For some, COVID-19 and lockdown measures have caused trauma. Almost 6 in 10 of autistic people and families in our insight group reported being unhappy with the information on coming out of lockdown, and fears over safety protocols not being followed have prevented some from taking advantage of the recent relaxations. Many also face increased stigma because they are unable to wear a face covering or face mask, or have tics involving coughing or spitting. So normal doesn't work for everybody. This is an opportunity for change. Autistic people are more likely to report positive aspects of lockdown, such as reduced social pressure, emptier public spaces, and working and studying from home. As in education, professionals and social settings that do not meet their needs, some autistic people and families feel that lockdown has aligned the world more closely to their existing current lifestyle. Creating an opportunity to create a more accessible and inclusive society, it is critical that we gather data on these benefits as well as harms in order to create a world that works for every single autistic person. Again, I agree with that. I think it's something that we should have really been working towards. I think this is something that benefits us all long term, and I think it's going to help a lot of people. So what we need to find out and the research recommendations. Mental health was really the number one research priority for autistic people, families and researchers. While adaptations will have been made because of this pandemic, many autistic people are keener than ever to take part within research. Key questions should include: what impact have emergency changes to education, health and care systems had on the physical and mental health well-being of the most vulnerable in our society? How can we mitigate this and impact as guidance currently changes? How does the accessibility, and effectiveness of digital assessment, treatment and care packages amongst neurodivergent people across different platforms? How can trauma-informed approaches to mental health support be adapted? How can we develop effective neurodevelopmental mental health services models that can vary their capacity and delivery methods in response to local lockdown or changes? How can we most effectively involve neurodivergent people in research and social distancing measures? So what we should do, NHS Trust should ensure that existing crisis services are available to people with diverse communication needs. Shortly after the pandemic was declared, NHS England brought forward their long-term plan commitment to establish a 24/7 single point of access for urgent mental health support across the country. Many autistic people find phone calls difficult or impossible to engage. Commissioners and providers should make available a range of alternative contact options, including a non-virtual, to ensure accessibility for those who may need these services the most. NHS England should work with sustainability and transformation partnerships and integrated care systems to develop plans for preventing and treating mental health conditions within the neurodivergent community and ensure responsible services are sufficiently funded. A return to pre-pandemic services will not be enough to meet the rising demand or the particular needs of neurodivergent people. Rebuilding neurodevelopmental and mental health services for post-COVID-19 world is the ideal opportunity to include targeted emotional, behavioural, and mental health support for this group. As the social distancing rules become more complex, the Department of Health and Social Care and other government departments should consider how to keep guidance clear for those who struggle with uncertainty and the ambiguity. Some neurodivergent people have effectively remained in full lockdown, further exacerbating their inequality due to unclear messaging, inaccessible language, variable public compliance or harassment over rules that they are unable to adhere to. These concerns must be addressed if we are to ensure no one is left behind as these restrictions currently change. Schools, employers, local authorities and STPs and ICSs should assess whether these temporary changes have benefited the neurodivergent people and plan how to retain parts of these changes indefinitely. Many autistic people have found positive aspects of being in lockdown, with some even reporting improvements within their mental health. Rather than dropping beneficial changes in the rush to be back to normal, we must all learn from these experiences and build on them to create a more inclusive world, where telecommunicating and using modern technology to communicate are more widely accessible than the traditional ways of working. They should remain a viable option, for example, being able to apply for benefits online. If further changes must be made, these should be made well clear in advance and where possible. So I'm going to link this article down below. As an autistic person myself, I feel this is a really good article. I feel it's something that supports autistic people and their mental health well-being. But at the same time, I'm worried that these changes are going to make our mental health worse, that there will be a lot more people crashing their mental health because they don't know who to go to. And it's totally right. This is about making the mental health services more accessible. Absolutely right. I think it's something that should be done. I think it's something we should all be having access to. But the problem is, because a lot of the mental health services are 9 to 5, typical office hours, there's no one after the 5 o'clock deadline where everyone's going home. And when a person like myself could be in distress at night time, there's no one there to talk to, there's no one there to contact. So again, it's about putting strategies into place that will work for both the neurodivergent autistic community and the non-autistic community. I think also that this is very well planned and very well spoken out. But at the same time, you've got to realise that not all of this is going to be easily understood for families of autistic loved ones. And I think that a lot of information will overload them. So what I'll do is I'll link the website down below. And also for me, I really understand this. It's clear, it's concise. It sets out what the government needs to do. And like I said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.